last week we heard from the Deputy Minister in the Presidency Nonceba Mhlauli releasing the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative numbers, right, that it had created around 1.5 million job opportunities. This as the country's unemployment crisis continues with young people bearing the brunt of joblessness. The African Transformation Movement is casting doubt on this, and the party spokesperson Zama Ntshona is joining us for this conversation this evening. Good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time, Mr. Ntshona. Before we get into the conversation with you, let's just listen to what the Deputy Minister had to say.
It's an outcomes fund that works with implementing partners, some of whom are here today, to secure quality and sustainable jobs for at least 4,500 unemployed and marginalized young people. The first year of the program, the year we're currently in, is a pilot program. But after doing a review of similar programs around the world, we found that Jobs Boost is one of the largest outcomes funds targeting unemployment of young people in the world. Like Deputy Minister has mentioned, Traditional Skills Fund in the country funds predominantly training activities, which has resulted in a large number of young people going through the system and accessing skills development, but not necessarily finding meaningful work. With Jobs Boost, our training providers are paid the majority of their contracted amount only when the young person has been placed in a job. So this approach focuses on and incentivizes the outcome of employment and not just the training itself, which ensures that the training provided by young people, by training providers to young people, is truly demand-led. Jobs Boost will also stimulate innovation in the training and workplace support space, and importantly for us as government, drive down the cost of skilling by eliminating wastage, which we define as training that fails to equip young people to access and sustain jobs.
Lots to talk about just after hearing, about that program. But Mr. Ntshona, you are casting doubt on the numbers that have been presented. Why?
Thank you so much. Good evening to you and the listeners. When you look at Q1 in 2020, that was sitting at 30.1%, and looking at Q4 in 2024, you're looking at about 32% unemployment, with an expanded definition that is close to 50%, and with the majority of young people in this country still jobless. When you look at those numbers, they are not very different from the around the 70-60% of young people. And therefore, if you look at these numbers consistently throughout all 4 quarters of 2020, 21, 22, and 24, there is nowhere where a 1.5 million additional jobs could have been on the cards. It is misleading to actually say that there was about 1.5 million job opportunities that were actually granted to the young people of South Africa. The numbers from State South Africa do not speak anywhere close to that.
And when you then also listen to another issue that has come out that is quite important here, is the issue around training, right, and the skills development, because there has been a lot of talk over time about the fact that, yes, you can train the young people, skill them, but if you're not skilling them for this economy, then and how the world is changing, then simply you are not meeting that need. Would you say that this program has done exactly that?
Well, I think right now it's a question of the economy is closed. So when the economy is closed, regardless of what you try and do, you are not going to get that far because the economy is closed. This is why the African Transformation Movement has always called for the industrialization of South Africa, especially for goods that we use for on a regular basis, so as to open up the economy. Not only that, we have also spoken of the issue of mining beneficiation and secondary products created, and not just taking raw material and taking it to other countries, but refining it within the country so as to open the market. We've spoken of the ring fencing of the microeconomic space, where we know that you have people who, as the legislation of this country, are occupying a space that is a low-hanging fruit, rather, for South Africans. But we have not done all those things. So if we think that we can actually open up the economy by simply taking in a handful of young people and training them without opening the markets, we're not going to go very far. The jobs are accounted for, and most of them are occupied. So you need to open the market, open the gap, so that young people can actually find meaningful, can find space within the economy of this country. But as things stand, and with the kind of training that they are offering, without opening the markets, you're not going to go very far.
And there is a view, right, when you listen to others that have spoken about this program, they say that, yes, you're talking about job opportunities, but these aren't, meaningful work, as they call it. Others are saying these are just part-time jobs. They simply are not going to go far enough to take the young people out of the challenges that they're facing. But then you have others who are saying that it's better to get a temporary job, as they call it, just a temp job, as they call it, rather than not have anything at all when it comes to putting food on the table. Which side are you leaning towards?
We were always speaking about the expanded public works program and how it does not go far enough. The issue of you keep on recycling individuals, come in for 3 months, go out for 6 months, come in for 2 months. It does not speak to the restoration of human dignity as we would have liked. What we had envisaged as the people of this country, when we talked about meaningful freedom and the expression, especially of young people in the economy of today, we were speaking about sustainable jobs, jobs where even the pay is at a point where an individual can be able to even think about investments. So if you are only going to say it is better that we get a 3 months job and I be out of it, it causes more stress, it causes more pain, it is a relief of a limited time. And that is not what we fought for. We fought for meaningful jobs, sustainable jobs. We fought for people so that individuals may be able to sustain themselves even independent of the government.
And all of this, right, this conversation that you and I are having and the numbers that we are seeing in the public domain is taking place ahead of the budget speech by the finance minister this week. And a lot of focus is on how then do you begin to grow the economy? Because, I mean, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the budget speech. You're thinking about a number of people that are talking about the fact that, are you still going to be, showing tough love towards the SOEs? What do you do to unlock a lot more opportunities? But I suppose, as you say, we may be out of the woods, for example, when it comes to load shedding. Yes, we saw it returning, but it had been a long time without it. But if you are not growing the economy, then it's the problem. So what are your expectations in this regard ahead of this budget speech?
Thank you so much. We expect that the Minister of Finance, Minister Kodongwana, would actually speak, in fact, reveal and give a budget that is going to give meaning to the dreams that the president sold us. We have one of them being massive infrastructure development programs, which we welcome, because when you look at Joburg alone, the state of bridges, it was shocking when the stats were revealed on those bridges that were ready to carry South Africa forward, and you saw that they were just around the 6% mark. So investment is going to be important, but for us as the African Transformation Movement, we want to see further than the 940 billion that is said to be used or earmarked for that particular project. We want it to go further so that we are able to look at issues around how it is going to be monitored, how the phases of the projects and all those kinds of things. Because for us, we believe that if they do that, they will actually be dealing with the problem to a certain extent. But also the issue of illicit flows. You know, the African Transformation Movement wrote to the public protector saying it's about time that we actually pay a closer look to the issue of illicit flows. They are projected around 400 billion rand every year. Because the South African economy, from the borders to the economic systems, and those who are not being monitored, who should be taxed, are actually taking money away from South Africa, we are not able to actually speak to that. So we would want the minister to actually speak to issues of illicit flows in this country. We must see to it that there are no individuals who should be paying taxes in this country who are evading paying taxes. Let's see the law tighten on that matter. But also, as the African Transformation Movement, we would like to see issues around the microeconomic space. We do not believe in the first place that our fellow brothers and sisters from elsewhere around the world should be operating in that space. Now, we would like to see the finance minister speaking to that. But also, we can't forget the state of the army. To have 2,000 soldiers captured, and we are begging rebels to actually give us back our soldiers, is a disgrace. And it is a disgrace because we couldn't take the 388 helicopters and fighter jets because they are awaiting being serviced. That is it. So we would like to see, these are but some of the issues that we would like to see, of course, from education to health, from issues of mobility in the country and transportation, the agriculture and food sector. There are a number of other things, but these are but some of the issues that we would like to see finding expression in the budget speech.